Hey everyone, it's Keon with Training for Warriors Conquered. Hey, I asked you all earlier this week, I said, hey, what's your biggest struggle? And I asked you, I wanted to know, what are you struggling with when it comes to fitness and when it comes to nutrition? And I was overwhelmed by the amount of response I got and the amount of heartfelt response I got. So instead of just writing quick replies and quick, simple things, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go down the list and I wanted to encourage you. I wanted to answer your questions deeply and I wanted to engage you. So over the next couple of weeks, we are going to go through each and every question. I posted it in our Familia page and I posted it on my personal page. So if you have a question, if you're burning up inside about something, then ask me, put it up. I will get on it eventually. It might take me a little while to chip down, but I think what's going to happen is you're going to find these very valuable. Okay. So the question was asked. The first one was asked by my mom. So I get to address my mom first, which I'm super happy about. Is, hey, how do you stay consistent with your health and nutrition? How do you stay consistent when you're eating? And so what I came up for you is a couple of words to focus in on, because when you're focusing on nutrition, as you're driving through the process of eating and getting healthy, all of us will hit this, the plateau. I'm not sure if it's going to show up. All the words are going to be backwards. If you're watching this and you can see it, is this backwards or is this forwards for you? Let me know. So the plateau. What the plateau is it's an exciting place, but it's a place that you're going to need the most amount of courage and confidence to get through. Because what happens is you're grinding, you're seeing success, you're losing weight, and then what happens is you come to a great plains of nothingness. And you sit there, there's no change, maybe you're not getting much stronger, you're not losing a bunch of weight, what's going on? And that's the plateau. Now this is the exciting part. This is where you can really succeed, because if you hit the plateau and you go, and you grind and you keep moving, that's where you're going to see the success. See, if you hit the plateau and you're like, I'm not really into it. I don't really want to continue to work and not see results. You'll never see the results. You got to continue to grind and continue to move. And that's the plateau. Okay. So, hey, I also underlined a letter in each one of these words and I want you to stay focused on that. So there's the plateau. The second word, the second thing I want you to do is, hey, pay attention to detail. In Training for Warriors, in our system, attention to detail is the thing that separates us. It's the thing that makes us different than everyone else. If you don't pay attention to detail, if you're like, oh, well, I'm eating good most of the time, and you're not really tracking things, or I might be losing you guys. It says my connection is weak right now, so if I'm dropping out, you let me know. So what I'm saying is attention to detail. If you're not paying attention to everything that's going into your mouth, if you're just casually eating things, if you're just casually going at your nutrition, you're not going to see results as consistently as you'd like to. So maybe track how many glasses of wine am I having, and maybe you'll be surprised. Maybe it's a lot more than you thought. Maybe you need to track how much protein you're eating, or whatever the weakness is. Pay attention to those small things, because those small things, as they grow, are going to become more and more important. The next thing is time. You got to pay attention to time. Time is in the short term and the long term. So we talked about the plateau, but also, hey, you know what? People ask me, how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take for me to get results, to really be in the body I want to be in? And you know what? With consistent effort, it's going to take about a year. That's an honest thing. If you're starting at a good spot, it might take 2 years. It might take, for a lot of us, it might take up to 5 years. But you know what we see? And we see the hey, get shredded in 20 days, that kind of stuff. And that's not realistic. So you got to pay attention to the time the time investment that you're going to have to put in to see the results. Okay, so if you've just been, if you're coming off a 30-day thing and you've seen some great results, or a 6-week, lose a bunch of pounds challenge, hey, pay attention to the amount of time you're putting into your nutrition, and that will yield a lot better results. The next word we have for you is, are you being irrational? Now, there's a lot of ways to be irrational, but the thing I want you to think about is, are you being irrational with what you're eating? So, how many times have you had someone say, oh my goodness, I've lost so much weight on this diet. All you have to eat is this special shake here and this nutrition thing there. And once you have these special magical things, you're going to lose the weight. How many times has that happened to you? I'm sure it happens to you on a daily basis. And look, I like my supplements. I think there are supplements that you really need, but are you eating your broccoli? Are you eating your blueberries? Are you drinking your water? Are you sleeping? Those are the things I need you to focus on. Otherwise, all you're doing is you're being irrational about it. You're focusing on the things that aren't really the big picture. You're not focusing on the things that you need to focus in on. You're being irrational. And a lot of times what happens is people will skip around. They'll eat broccoli for a little bit, then they'll go to blueberries, and they'll go to this, and then they'll focus on taking raspberry ketones. How many people, let me ask you this, how many people are successful because they eat raspberry ketones? The answer is not many. So are you being irrational about your food? Are you being irrational about what you're doing? So, the next thing, and this is important, are you staying educated about your food? Now, by watching this video, you're working on your education. But are you talking to me? Are you talking to Brenda? Are you digging in with Lorraine about, hey, I really don't know what I should be having for breakfast? Focus on that. Talk to us. We'll help you. Are you going through the precision nutrition course? Are you? Do you have a copy of a lot of different cookbooks? Are you learning how to cook? Do you know how to use a knife properly? That's a big question. If you don't know how to cut right, maybe you're not going to make the greatest choices in the kitchen because you can't cut the food right. So if you're not staying educated, if you're not constantly learning, hey, even in our gym, Gina Miller, man, she has taken a couple of our students and she has taken them and taught them how to use parsley. Did you know there's some really cool ways to use parsley in your cooking that you're probably not doing? Ask Gina. Get connected with people and ask people around you. Next thing, are you focusing on the new and cool stuff as opposed to the tried and true? The new and cool stuff, not tried and true, right? The reason we love Training for Warriors here is because Training for Warriors has been around for at least 25 years. It's been proven with professional athletes and people just like me and just like you. That's why we love Training for Warriors. It's a proven system. But, man, every day there's something new popping up. Hey, there's a cool exercise board. And the same is true for nutrition. Have you tried intermittent fasting? Have you tried this thing? Have you tried that thing? The new and cool stuff, it goes right back into the irrational stuff. If you're focusing on the new cool, you're not focusing on the tried and true. So that's my challenge to you. Don't get new and cool. Get tried and true. Now, this one's tough because this one I'm going to ask you to be hard on yourself. I'm going to ask you to pull a little bit more out of you. Hey, the company you keep. Are those people helping you? Are they helping you be consistent, or are they dragging you down? There's a story that goes along with this. When you go crabbing, when you hunt for crabs, when you fish for crabs, you put the net down, and you come back and you take the crabs up and out. When you put the crabs into the bucket, there's no need to put a top on the bucket, because as one crab is climbing out of the bucket, one of the other crabs will look up and say, hey, I want to get out there. I'm going to use you as leverage. So it'll pull the other crab down, trying to get up to the same level as the crab was. And then another one will pull it down, and another one will pull it down. And so you never have to put the cap on the crabs because they just keep pulling each other down. Are those your friends? Are the people that you're hanging out with, are they pulling you down? Are they preventing you from eating well? And hey, maybe it's your husband. Maybe you got to have a hard conversation with your spouse and say, look, honey, this is super important to me. Can I trust you? Can I invest? Can you invest in me so that I can invest in me? Can we go through this together? And that's probably the most important conversation you can have. Either that, or if you have friends who are not supportive, you got to get away from them. You got to remove yourself from them. So that is the company that you keep. The last letter of this word, and I've been putting together a word, so I hope you've been paying attention, is you got to enjoy yourself. Food, nutrition, all of that, it's got to be an enjoyable endeavor. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you might lose a lot of weight, but you'll never keep it off because you don't enjoy the food that you eat, right? So if you don't know how to cook well, if you're just hopping around, hey, maybe you'll lose some weight, but it won't be consistent. It won't be something that you love. It won't be a body that you love because you've never been consistent. The last thing, guys, what we've spelled out is patience. Maybe you've felt that current through all the letters I gave you, but patience. P is for plateau. A is attention to detail. T is for time. I is for being irrational. E is for education. N is for new and cool. C is for the company that you keep. And E is for enjoy. Say, guys, you got to have patience when it comes to food. It will not happen overnight, right? You won't ruin your diet with one bad meal, and you won't make weight with one good meal. So you got to make sure, hey, that you are taking steps forward day by day by day. It's not going to be all at once. It's not going to be just turn around and one day you wake up thin. I was talking with Justin down at the Hop Grenade. This is a local bar. And I was talking to him about, hey, how did you get successful? because overnight it just appeared that this great bar happened in downtown Concord. And it might be funny, hey, I'm talking about nutrition and talking about a bar, but you'll see why in a second. And he said, well, I was doing this podcast, the Brewing Network, he was doing it for 5 consistent years. And nothing. And then suddenly, the 5th year, everything exploded and everything was successful. So after 5 years of hard work, that's when he saw success. That's the same for nutrition, guys. It's the grind, it's the consistency that you got to do and you got to keep up. So that's the challenge to you guys, is stay patient and grind it out. I got a boost because my phone just gave me a note that I got 10% left. So if you have any questions, pop it in the comments below and I'll get to it in a second when I get on my computer because my phone's about to die. I hope you enjoyed that. Please share this with friends because, hey, you never know when something that you share on your Facebook wall might go to the heart of someone. So especially when it's positive like this. Guys, when there's so much negativity going around in the world, you got to share the positivity. So share the positive stuff, share this video, and we will see you next week for another episode of the Hey, What Are You Struggling With video series.